East Europe for the year 2021. We're so happy to have you here again with us after 3 semifinals for those of you who have been following. And today we will find out who is our regional winner. I'm Nevenka from Startit, and we are so happy to be co-organizing this event with the regional Raiffeisen banks as well as the head office in Austria. And it's amazing to see this project growing from year to year, from an initiative that happened in just 1 country to 3 countries and now for the whole region. And I hope it will be growing again from year to year in the years to come. Before we continue to our main part of the program, I would just quickly like to remind you all of what are some of the perks for the startups who have been competing and who are competing here today for the title of the regional winner. So we will see 3 startups who are winners of 3 category events that have happened at the beginning of December. Some of you might have already seen them and are familiar with what these startups are doing. But today they will be competing for the prize of 10,000 euros grant money and also an opportunity to be pitching live on the Elevator Lab demo day in 2022, and to meet senior bank managers from the regional Raiffeisen banks as well as from Raiffeisen Bank International. So there's a lot of value on the table here today, and I'm sure it will be a great competition between 3 really amazing startups from our region. Before we get a chance to meet our jury, I would also like to invite Elma from Raiffeisen Bank International, where she works on strategic partnerships and ecosystem management, to give us a few welcoming words. Elma is one of the key people who made this year's Elevator Lab challenge happen. So I'm so glad she is also able to join us. Hi, Elma, how are you?
Hi, Nevenka, very good. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for introducing me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would also like to thank the audience for attending our startups that will be participating today. Of course, the jury, but especially I would like to thank my colleagues from the RBI group who got involved with this competition and who really put in so much effort into organization. I would just like to say a couple of words about the Elevator Lab. We were founded in 2017, and back then it started as a program only here in head office in Vienna, Austria, with the mission of establishing long-term partnerships with fintech startups by connecting the bank with these innovative and passionate startups, and by increasing the awareness of the startup community, the tech trends, and the benefits of co-innovation. Since then, our mission stayed the same, but the program really grew across the CE region and here in the head office, and different subsidiary banks run different tracks and programs under this Elevator Lab umbrella. Also, since 2017, we have already done more than 25 POCs, and which resulted then in 15 long-term partnerships, which we are really, really proud of. But specifically regarding this program, as you said, Nevenka, as well, we have organized these regional challenges, boot camps, and so on. But this is really the first year that we have a program that is this big and covering the entire SCE region. So we are really excited. This program's goal is not only to identify the regional startups for potential cooperation with the RBI group, but our goal is to also promote these startups, to promote the regional startup community and scene, and to incentivize it to grow and to develop further, in order to share the knowledge about these regional startups externally and within the RBI group, and to have all of that kind of culminate with inspiring people to innovate further and to cooperate and to co-innovate. With all this said, I won't go on anymore. On behalf of the Elevator Lab team, I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to listen to today's pitches. And yeah, I wish all the best to the startups presenting. Thank you, Nevenka.
Thank you so much, Elma, for giving us this overview of how Elevator Lab evolved as an initiative and how it also came to our region, and what are some of the highlights since its founding. Thank you so much for joining. Elma is also part of today's jury, and now I will proceed to introduce the rest of our jury members. Today we will be joined by jury members from all over our region, from Raiffeisen banks from our region, but also from the head office in Austria. And at this point, I would like to invite Petar Jovanovic, Deputy Chairman of the Managing Board at Raiffeisen Bank, to join us. Hi, Petar, how are you?
Hi, everybody.
Would you like to say a few words about Elevator Lab and its role in regional startup scene?
Sure. I'm so glad and excited to be a member of the jury of the Regional Elevator Lab, which is very important for our group and startup ecosystem as well. So this initiative is very important for us because we think and we know from our past experience that cooperation and collaboration with the fintechs is very important for our common future. We also know there's so many bright and smart people in our region, and we want to use Elevator Lab as a platform to give them the opportunity to get access to amazing resources which RBI Group has. So I wish all of the fintechs and the startups who are in the final great performance today, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Petar, and thank you so much for joining year after year and being a part of our jury and contributing to each year's Elevator Lab Challenge and helping out the startups with your feedback. We'll be seeing more of Petar during the pitches and the Q&A with the teams. Our next jury member for today is Alda Shehu, Head of Strategy and Innovation at Raiffeisen Bank. Hi, Alda. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me. And it's an opportunity for me to express my, I would say, proudness of being part of this program. Year after year, Elevator Lab has become a very prestigious institution, more a nest, I would say, to the startups, fintech community, even to students, people with early stages of developing their ideas. Year after year, we have built very solid partnerships with the participants of this program, not only winners, but also with startups which have shown eagerness and innovative ideas. This time is different. We have tried and thought of trying to expand our focus. So now you would see in our program participants from all the region, from Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Kosovo, Albania, and not only limited to these geographic borders. I'm very pleased to see a very active participation. Startups with intentions and interests in different fields, especially related to banking. I wish to all participants good luck in their long endeavors and future challenges. I also want to thank them for participating, and also for the finalists, I wish them good luck.
Thank you so much, Alda, for joining. It's a pleasure to have you. And our next jury member for today is Igor Car, Executive Director of Mass Banking Sector at Raiffeisen Bank. Hi, Igor. How are you?
Hi to all.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, just a few sentences from my side. So this competition is not only helping us, Raiffeisen, to get new insight into fintech and innovations, but also gives you, Elevator Lab challenges, competitors a great opportunity to implement your technology in banking sectors. So wish you all the best in the pitches.
Thank you so much, Igor. It's great to have you again this year.
Thank you.
Our next jury member for today, you have already met him on one of our category events, is Kenan Kartic, Head of Digital Competence Center at Raiffeisen Bank. Hi, Kenan.
Hi all.
How are you?
Very well. Glad to be here.
That's great to hear. If you have anything to share about your impressions on Elevator Lab so far, please do.
Sure. Also, just to share that I'm very happy and excited to be part of the Elevator Lab for this year, my second year in a row. Just to say that before I joined the bank, I worked in sales for 12 years. And also for a long time, I worked for one global IT corporation. And what I learned so far is that one of the most important things for the sales of each of the new solutions or ideas or products is to get the chance to implement it with the first customer, to get the reference. And after that, everything is much easier. So this is the chance for the startups, and I just want to say this is your chance and use it. Good luck with that.
That's an amazing point and advice for the startups. Thank you so much, Kenan, for joining. We're so glad to have you. Our next jury member for today is Shukri Mustafa, COO at Raiffeisen Bank. Hi, Shukri.
Hi from my side as well. And I would like just to thank everybody for having me. And for sure, just bring it as a new opportunity for fintechs and for the banks as well, because we are seeing a great opportunity for the partnership with fintechs. And I think this is what the banks should do in the future. This is a new beginning with Elevator Lab. That we are testing the waters and seeing how we can further enrich this cooperation with fintechs. And it's an exciting moment for me as well, just to see who's going to be the winner in that.
I think it's exciting for all of us as well as our audience. It's great that you are a part of today's jury, and thank you so much for joining. And our final jury member for today is Marek Slabicki, Head of IT Strategy and Solutions Task Force at RBI. Hi, Marek.
Hi, thanks for the invitation, and I'm super happy to join the jury. Marek Slabicki, I'm leading the Group IT Strategy and Transformation for RBI Group. I have to say, I only regret that this session is not in person. I think usually such a pitch presentation, when they are in person, they have this kind of amazing spirit, which I think in the online is very hard to, repeat. But nevertheless, I'm super excited to see the presentations from you guys. To be honest, I collaborate with the Elevator Lab from the group IT perspective already some time. Previously, I was also in my previous work in PwC, I was also mentoring a couple of startups. So I definitely understand how this is to be on both sides, I would say, looking from this perspective. And I really keep fingers crossed. To be honest, from my perspective, leading the transformation of the IT of the banking group, I see a lot of inspiration, motivation, and challenge in terms of the fintechs. And actually for the group like us, which is established banking group in this region, it's also the chance to break some barriers, let's say, reinvent the possibilities. And I think this is the amazing, let's say, opportunity which we have from this kind of cooperation. So I wish good luck, but also have fun. I think it's maybe not enough fun in banking nowadays. So looking from this perspective, I hope you will also enjoy this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's a great point. And I have to second your opinion in regards to holding the competition live and in person. We really wanted to do it live this year, but unfortunately, this is our second year in a row where we are looking at each other
crossed for the next year.
From the screens. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, those were our jury members. You will have plenty of chance to see them again during our Q&A sessions with the teams. And now we will proceed to our first pitch of today's competition. Before we do that, I would just like to quickly tell you what are some of the rules of today's competition. So the pitches will be longer than in the category events, and each team will have 8 minutes to present their solutions and also present their proposal for cooperating with the bank. And they will have another 7 minutes for the Q&A with the jury. Our first team for today that will present is the winner of the ESG category, Tepema.
Hello, I'm Dion Deva, CEO of Tepema, a green and sustainable design living space solution company that operates in the smart and sustainable cities industry. We're fighting climate change, which is a serious threat to human civilization. Tepema created a product called Facade 2.0. Is the innovative version of vertical greenery application, a panel through which we cover and insulate buildings thermally, thus save electricity using almost 100% recycled materials. The level of innovation is like when we went from the classic TV to flat TVs. So it's a soil-free greenery. The bigger impact of Facade 2.0 is in Mediterranean countries, because all enterprises that have a lot of staff in their offices and thus spend a lot of fixed cost on electricity bills in order to keep work environments cool, we're going to help. We provide these companies 30% cut of electricity bill expenses at the end of the year. In addition to the wonderful facade that eliminates air pollutants, we guarantee 5 years return on investment. We're confident because we're testing in Pristina, the prototype of Facade 2.0, which is designed in modules, in panels, for easy replicable production. And compared to the classic form of vertical greenery, we have reduced 50% of installation costs. Before 2 years, we created our first vertical garden product. Municipality of Pristina here in Kosovo was our first customer. And we had an exponential revenue growth from 0 to 50K and then to 250K per year. Facade 2.0 is our latest product. We have already built a prototype in second frequented street in Kosovo. We have been working on proprietary software in order to protect our market and engage customers. In this way, we will continue to multi-billion green facade market. And our engines are high margin due to the low cost of production, market size and demand, and the third, customer life. Our clients are investing €0. We are partners sharing the savings from electricity bills. Our customers are paying fees from the saved electricity costs. From the outdoor, each house wearing a green facade at the end of the year will prevent 500 kilograms of CO2, or 25% better on climate change. Taking together, the 1% of entire beachhead market will prevent 66,000 tons of carbon dioxide. But from the indoor environment will be less ammonia, less air conditioning, and other harmful elements, but more and more fresh air from the indoor environment. In other words, it takes 50 years for a mature tree to absorb 500 kilograms of CO2. It is inevitable for us to work on sustainability, sustainable products, sustainable buildings, sustainable financial institution, sustainable banking. Raiffeisen Bank, as a leader for sustainable bond house through Green Bond Program, cooperating with our business model and product could be the perfect synergy for investing in energy efficiency. Facade 2.0 is complementary to solar panels. So solar panels generates energy. Facade 2.0 panels saves energy. And I'm marveled to be a part of a wonderfully talented team that created 2 sustainable companies and 13 products. 5 of them into the market, serving 100,000 of people. Thank you from our team, Blondin, Genty, and me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dion, so much for your pitch. Are you ready for your Q&A with the jury?
Yeah. Thank you for listening to me.
Great. We'll bring them in, and we will have 7 minutes for the Q&A.
May I start?
Oh, yeah, of course, Kenan. Go ahead.
So thank you very much for the great presentation and great proposal.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions. Maybe I will set the first one now and second one later on. So basically, one of the last slides you presented your team, and out of CEO, CTO, and COO, do you have any salespeople in your organization or cooperation with some external corporates?
Till now, we have done everything, especially me as a CEO. I was in the department of the sales.
Thanks.
Thank you.
May I continue with the second question? Dion, how many panels can you produce today?
Today, we can produce 1,000 per day.
So you have some kind of factory behind people that are working, or?
Yes, actually people that are working, but it's we have designed to be very easy replicable and production. If we could have a production line, the number is more than 10,000 per day. Because we have also face mask, medical mask factory, and also our background is mechatronics engineering from the mechanical engineer. So yes, it's so easy to produce that.
And you would provide end-to-end service from installing, implementation, maintenance, so like a lifetime bonding with you?
Yes, we can do that, but we haven't think in this way. We have designed that to be easy installed. So every architect that have or engineer that has employees, they can install that. It's easier than creating building the modern facade that we are using now.
Could I have 2 questions in regards to this? How you envision your distribution channel, meaning this is assumed to be B2B, so to business, B2C, or B2B2C, meaning through the other business partner to the end customer. This would be one point, and this is especially related to your business model based on the save bills, because I would be less worried on the capacity to produce, more worried on the capacity to produce business cases, let's say, to have the revenue out of the, let's say, distributed clients.
Yeah, the very first of our client, we have sold to B2G. It was a municipality of Pristina. The product is designed, and the first beachhead market are banks, insurance companies, so all the companies that has most of employees in-house. But also it has to be large or medium companies because they are more educated. These are our first customers. So it's B2B, the first customers, but at the end, in the 5-year financial projection, there could be B2B2C.
Good. And the second part of the question, how realistic you envision that you can indeed make the revenue as a based on the success fee on the reduced electricity bills, because it's quite a lot of factors which are influencing the electricity bill. Is it, let's say, overcomplicated this way?
Yes, that's why also we need consultancy in legal form and also in financial form. We are selling to those companies who most of the fixed costs are going to pay the electricity bills. Not most of them, but more than 10% of the fixed cost. Then those companies are using the energy during the hot days to keep the environment cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. One question from my side. So there are many green facade solutions providers around Europe. So why do you think RBI as a group should use your component, your solution as something that we should apply? So is there anything which is unique in your solution?
Yes, actually there are two main unique about this product, because till now the green facade has been used for visual things, for the landscape. It's not used for the energy efficiency. This is the first thing that we have changed the function of green facade. And the second one, all the green facade that are built till now have been built customizable with the different projects. But our competitive advantage is that we are creating panels, we're producing in mass that are very easy installable, and everyone can have a green facade and install it. We don't need an architect and a botanist and all of this.
Is this installation mechanism patent protected?
It's patent pending.
Dion, you say this is the second version of this facade. What kind of traction did you have with the first version? Did you have any results, any partners that you can share with us already, except this governmental agency?
Yes, our first customers were municipalities. One of them, I said, municipality of Pristina. The other one is municipality of Jahova, and the other one is municipality of Prizren. The latest contract that we had is with municipality of Prizren, which we have covered in greenery, the bus station, and the bike electric bike charging. There is a new project in Prizren that they needed those modules to have the green facade because of the summer days and the aluminium was absorbing the heat. And
thank you, Dion. This was all the time we had for the Q&A with our jury.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. This was our first team, Tepema, winner of ESG Solutions category. And now the second team that we will hear is Easy Albania. They are the winners of our retail and SME banking and large corporates and institutional clients category. And now we'll proceed to their 8-minute pitch.
Hello, this is Doran Osmani, and I am the IT manager of Easy Albania, or else you can say the tech gig. I am glad joining you here for the Elevator Lab Challenge Finals. Let's start with the problem. Because the global pandemic in the last 2 years changed completely how the customers behave online. They didn't just browse on the internet, but they also start searching for products and buying online. This brought a massive surge in search for products and services, and online businesses, those who weren't ready actually had to follow the trend and revolutionize their sales channels. The problem was that most of these businesses were the traditional brick-and-mortar stores, shops, with no experience or knowledge in online sales. Some of them adapted to the new conditions, and some of them completely failed. Fast forward 2 years right now, and the online sales in the region are at an all-time high, a fact that brought into a bigger attention the rise of the Greek economy and non-formal payment methods like cash and delivery. But first, let me introduce Easy Albania, the solution. Easy Albania was founded to be the right hand of those businesses and help them evolve into the digital era. Easy Albania is an online marketplace where businesses can sell their products and services easier than ever. We have optimized our process in order to be such an easy one for the businesses to add their products and start selling immediately. Easy Albania is meant to be the Amazon of the region and offer the customers the convenience, flexibility, and safety when buying online, to create a two-sided marketplace where customers find easily the product or service they want than ever. We are dedicated to raise trust in the online purchases, reduce the cash and delivery payment methods, and offer a safe online place where customers don't think even twice to enter or not their card details. But let's first take a close look at the e-commerce growth in the Southeast Europe. During 2020, the e-commerce industry had a 4% growth in Europe, but compared to the Southeast Europe, it was at an eightfold, at 36%. Even though the global pandemic had massive impact in various economic sectors, it favored the e-commerce industry and it brought more than ever a massive number of new first-time shoppers. In the region, we have 83% access to the internet, and 23% of them are already buying online. That's a number that is growing fast year by year, and more than ever, the growth rate is even bigger than the rest of the Europe, and it represents a huge opportunity for e-commerce solutions. While Easy Albania is combining in that sector both services and products in one single place. Our competitors, we have various of them in the region, but none of them offers the best features and that are actually needed by the online customers into one unique combinations. Easy Albania offers an online mall where you can buy anything in one single place, and 24/7 customer support to help clients and businesses in real time. A call center service that offers telemarketing campaigns and help businesses sell their stock. A delivery service that is solely managed by us in order to secure fast delivery and reliability. Professional services that have high demand, like for example, an electrician or a plumber that you need to call to fix something in your house. You can contact him directly in our platform, and we manage the process from start to finish. And besides our web app, we also offer a mobile app for iOS and Android, because whatever device the end user has, we are there and accessible for them. Now, the fun part. Let's talk numbers. Easy Albania was launched in Albania this October, and recently in December we launched in Kosovo. But for the next year, 2022, we plan also to expand in the regional countries of Southeast Europe, like Serbia, Macedonia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Montenegro. Until now, more than 180 businesses have already joined our platform, a number that is growing with a fast rate each month. And we now offer more than 4,000 products available right away to buy or order online, or services in our platform. Besides that, we are determined to help traditional handmade products and local artisans by offering them free access to our platform to help maintain the tradition and give a boost to the local economy. Our business model, we have both B2C and B2B. And the B2C are end customers that make online purchases or for products or services through our platform. Now, regarding the B2B part, We consider as such the businesses that join our platform with subscription, fees, and percentage over sales. We also offer them a call center service for telemarketing campaigns and help them sell more products that they have in stock. In our platform, we have also available ad spaces and options for promoted products. We at Easy Albania, we are a team of 20 industry professionals that work hard to put the face behind e-commerce. Because there's a common misconception that everyone can just create an online store from his dorm room or his garage and start selling online. But online customers have evolved and become more aware than ever when buying online, and they need to trust the company and the people that they buy from. We are a team that have worked together for more than 6 years, and now we combined again our powers to transform e-commerce in the region. Now, regarding the cooperation with the banks, Easy Albania represents a great opportunity for the banks, in the region, and especially for the Raiffeisen, because it already offers an e-commerce solutions. The banks can utilize the fast-growing number of vendors and customers that are joining our platform, and they can grow their user base and offer better solutions and optimize existing ones. Our goal is to transform cash on delivery to online payments and reduce the gray economy problem and grow trust when buying online. We are offering incentives for the customers when paying with card, like get 10% off when you pay with your card. And through a huge PR campaign, we are continually growing more trust and security for the customers into online payments. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to represent Easy Albania at the Elevator Lab Challenge Finals, and I would invite you to contact us for further information or questions that you might have. My name is Dorian Osmani, and this is Easy Albania. Thank you.
Hi, Dorian. Thank you so much for your pitch. How are you feeling today?
All good, thank you. Thanks a lot for being
here. Great. Let's bring in our jury for our 7-minute Q&A.
Sure. Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi, hello.
Hello and congratulations.
Thank you.
I have one question, two in fact. From your current members, what kind of industry is the majority of them?
From the businesses that we have already in our platform, the majority of them are selling fashion items in the fashion industry and also handmade products. Because as I said in my presentation, we offer free access for local artisans and handmade products in our platform. But we have more than 15 categories that every day we are enriching them with new businesses. So we have a vast amount of products in our platform.
Thank you. And the second question, you said that you would offer also promotions, incentives. Who is paying for them?
Of course, there is a prior agreement with the business that sells the product in order to offer these incentives. But regarding the cooperation and incentives, to attract more clients, we also it would be a good opportunity to offer some loans and monthly installments when a client, for example, needs to buy a product and doesn't have the all amount of money beforehand. So this is also a good opportunity with the bank to be in cooperation with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one question from my side. What is your competitive advantage?
As I said, we are offering both products and services in one single platform. So you want to buy online let's say your grocery, you visit our platform. You need to buy something like a gift or a fashion item, you go to our platform. You need an electrician for your house, you contact them in our platform, and we manage the process from start to finish, like an electrician or plumber. We have contracts with non-contractor companies that offer these services, and this is the important part because we manage it from start to finish. So we give the code We ask the client how the process went and everything. So we offer, let's say, security for that part.
Okay, thank you.
If I could have two questions for the platform like yours, actually only one thing matters is the scale. Looking from this perspective, looking first from the brand name perspective, is it a little bit, let's say, locking you to the specific market? Why I'm asking, because usually this kind of platforms like yours are either super local or global. I do not recall at least quickly a kind of regional success case, and to what extent you prepared yourself, including the branding for the regional expansion.
Regarding the branding, we, of course, at every country that we launched, we have, let's say, easy Kosovo, easy Serbia, and it will be the same for all the countries that we launched there. In Kosovo, we just recently launched in 8th of December, so we are looking forward for the next countries in the region.
Good. If no more question, I would ask maybe one or two others. Looking from these partnerships with the bank, have you considered some kind of partnership in a way to propose some kind of value for value to have the access to the large client base?
Yeah, of course, that's part of the cooperation, because right now, even in our early steps online, we have a massive number of vendors and customers that are visiting our platform and are joining our platform. And this is a good base to start, creating the profile of the customers that buy online, which is also a good asset for a bank in order to offer better solutions for payment gateways, etc.
Okay, one question from my side. So I suppose in Albania and Kosovo you had this first mover advantage, but you want to expand to other countries in the region. And how do you plan to compete with established players? Like, for example, you have Shopster, Ananas, which are the players who are offering not the same, but similar marketplace, but they have much deeper pockets to invest into the business development than you. So how do you plan to compete with them?
Regarding the e-commerce growth in the region is at a much higher rate regarding the rest of the Europe. This presents a greater opportunity to attract, first of all, first-time shoppers. And I believe once you have established a company, a brand name that people can trust, then of course can buy from you and trust the card details. But regarding in competing with, of course, these established companies, one step at a time, we are strategically planning our expansion.
Could I just ask one question? How many employees do you have currently? I found it interesting that you have this delivery service also for your products. So in total, do you lease this kind of service to some other company that then delivers, or are these your employees? And the same question for also this call center and support that you have. Do you approach the sellers and retailers by yourself? Do you acquire them by yourself? And is this something that you offer too?
So regarding the number of our staff, we are 20 and growing. And for Tirana, first of all, we have our own delivery services, and for the other cities, we have contractors. Regarding the call center, we approach, of course, ourselves, the clients. We present them our product and services in order to sell their stock, like with telemarketing sales.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All the time we had for our Q&A.
Thank you for your questions.
The third team and the final team that we will hear today is the winner of Payments and Transaction Processing and Advanced Analytics and AI category. You will now get a chance to hear the pitch of the startup Swinto.
Hi, I'm Ulpian, CTO and co-founder of Swinto. So what is Swinto? Swinto is a people-friendly digital financial platform that offers free and instant transfers, sophisticated payment methods like QR codes, great currency exchange rates, innovative technology offering, and so much more. So what's our story? Well, Swinto has been licensed as a non-banking financial institution in August of this year, and we're 5 co-founders working in banking and fintech industry with an average of 20 years experience in banking, management, entrepreneurship, and technology. We've worked in Switzerland, the States, UK, Spain, and elsewhere. And our main objective has been finding seamless solutions for everyday problems related to finances. You know, we're so proud of our team, and we have a highly experienced management team. We couldn't fit all the experience in here, but you can see the faces of some of the great members of our team. And our CEO, Alban, has 20 years banking experience in private banking and investment banking in Zurich and New York. Myself, 12 years experience in fintech in London with startups and also enterprise companies. I started early, like Royal Bank of Scotland and Financial Times. And our Chief Growth Officer, Deton, with 15 years experience in retail business banking and profound knowledge of the banking sector in the Western Balkans. So what's the problem? Well, a lot of people who live abroad have their family and friends back home and they want to send money back. And they do this on a regular basis in various ways. But most of this is slow and expensive. And not everyone in the Balkan region has easy access to formal financial services that contributes to the informal economy. And importantly, women constitute the largest group of unbanked people and so are the least included in their financial system for their everyday payment needs. Our solution is to build a cutting-edge financial platform which makes it possible to send or receive money instantly, securely, and at no cost. And that comes hand in hand with an easy and fully digital onboarding process for all, with no opening or maintenance fees. And that's with dedicated campaigns to include, educate, and empower the unbanked part of society, predominantly women. So the app that we've built is to transfer money in 3 steps to your contacts, family, and friends. Easily exchange your money with multiple currencies, top up via bank transfer or cash with a map of merchant partner points, subscription payments, profile, business accounts, bill payments. You get the idea, so much more. On the right-hand side, you can see my account, and I'm using the application here to send some money and request some money from my family and friends, and you can see how intuitive and easy it is to use. We've gone through 3 major user tests to really capture that ease of use. And what's our expected development and market size? Well, first of all, we're in the middle of a launch in Switzerland and Kosovo right now, and our goal is to onboard 140,000 users by next year. That's in Kosovo, Switzerland, and Europe, which goes in plan with us entering new markets. You know, there are 1 billion euros that get sent annually to Kosovo as remittances, and that's only via official channels. That's because there's 850,000 Kosovars living in Western Europe. So we knew that we had to do our partnerships both internationally and locally. And we've partnered up with retail chains, taxi companies, public service, e-commerce, and we've had providers in industry-leading companies like Currency Cloud, MasterCard, Refinitiv. Our model is offering our main features: money transfer, payments, currency management, all instant and at no cost to users. So you may be wondering, how do we make money? Well, our income is mainly generated through a tiny margin on FX conversions, low commissions from merchant payments, low fees for cash transaction from users. Users can download the app on the App Store or Google Play, and after a full digital onboarding, they get their free account on Swinto. And of course, for Swiss users of Swinto, they also get an additional free prepaid MasterCard. So what we stand for, you know, our values define and guide us. We are committed to promoting financial empowerment, ensuring financial inclusion for all, and maintaining inclusive partnerships in our ecosystem. We deeply care about the unbanked and the environment. There's so much work left to do to support the financial inclusion of women and the unbanked while making sure that we're doing this in an eco-friendly way. It's not easy, but it's at the core of who we are. 2 or 3 of our board members in Kosovo are women, and we specifically run on AWS renewable energy regions. So what's our value proposition to personal clients? Well, That's instant borderless transfers at no cost for everyone, with great FX rates to convert money in different currencies instantly and with no extra fees. Seamless and free of charge QR payments via our large network of merchant partners, that's both in retail stores and online. And deposits and withdrawals at low fees within the merchant network with customer support that's there for you. Help center, in-app live chat, and phone. And for business clients, we have a fully digital onboarding for business accounts and virtual point of sales for businesses to accept payments instantly and securely. That's both in retail stores and online. And we've done this through offering an API-based integration with businesses' ERP systems. That includes not having the need to invest in additional hardware or additional talent. And businesses enjoy the reception of new clientele who use Swinto for their everyday shopping and cash transactions. Well, what's our use case for Raiffeisen Bank? We think we can grow the activity in the formal remittance flow. That leads to increased sight deposits for the bank. It also means growing activity of small businesses who receive payments via Swinto and transfer their turnover to the main bank account. Analytical data that we get that provides that key insight about customer behavior pattern and transaction trends. You know, together with Swinto, we can contribute to the formalization of the overall economy by channeling that cash towards digital payments. Banks are integral to us. Our aim is to integrate banking as a key part of Swinto, supporting a fundamental element within the platform as a whole. Our platform is designed secure, scalable, and reliable from the ground up using the latest technology. You know, by integrating, we're building the pathways of a more connected future, such as open banking, common QR payment standards, digital onboarding, and more. On the right-hand side, you can see a page from our documentation that we offer to merchants for integration. If you like that and you want to reach us out, these are our details. That's our website, email, and phone number. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Here with us today are Ulpian and Dritan. Are you ready for your Q&A with the jury?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Let's have them.
Great pitch, guys. Really great one. I'm wondering, you didn't explain what kind of technology you use or process for the cross-border transaction. Is it card-to-card based transaction, or how is done?
Actually, so you've hit the nail on the head. That's at the core of what we do. We built a virtual ledger system behind the scenes that's in-house. We've designed that from my experience in fintech and banking that we have as co-founders. And what we do is we actually build a core central place that's a virtual ledger matching and settling all payments across borders, while our actual accounts and integrations with banks happens at local points. So it could be card payments, it could be bank transfers, it could be other payment methods. And the way that we develop the API is actually so that it's open and we can connect to many different kinds of payment methods. You could have in-app payments in apps that we develop, SDK for online checkout in the future, where when it is supported, Apple Pay as well. So we've built that system in a way where we can introduce many different types of payments, but it all comes into our virtual ledger, which is the gem in our crown.
Thank you.
Let me just expand on this question, because that was my question as well. So the client has to have two accounts, right? One in Switzerland, one here in Kosovo at a certain bank, or is it going to be only one account for him?
So users, of course, if you live in Switzerland, you go through a very specific Swiss onboarding. And if you're in Kosovo or any other regions that we support, you do that specific onboarding. But you only have one account, and you connect to your contacts with your family and friends who also have one account. But you can have multiple currencies if you wish. And when you do want to top up, or when you do want to make payments, you have details that we give you. So the app particularly gives you that specific details you should use, like IBAN, VIC, a reference code if you need, that you can share. And that will detect the best entry point for that money to be processed in. So there's only one account of it.
And just to add a little bit on that, for the end client, for the business, it will be, a Swiss client can come to Kosovo or to any other place where we are actually working, and he can pay just as a local, so he doesn't have to transfer money. He can use his application, his Swiss bank account, and, for example, withdraw money with one of our merchants in Pristina, for example, or in Girona, going forward, or anywhere else.
So effectively, this makes it great because if you're in Switzerland, you open an account with Swinto, but then you could be flying over to Kosovo or any other region, and when you pay, you're making that payment instantly. Our virtual ledger is working it out for you, and you're complete. And if you need to exchange your currency, well, that's just one click as well.
So for the withdrawals, you do it through the merchants, the certain merchants that you would do a contract with.
Yeah. So on the app,
then you settle with them.
Yeah, exactly. So on the app, you say, I want to deposit 200 euros or I want to withdraw 500. We show you the nearest location. You can go there and a QR code is generated. You confirm that, and then we settle with the merchants behind the scenes. In fact, the merchants have a dashboard of their own that they can access, and they can see all of this data inside.
I have one question. How do you ensure customer data protection now that you have merchants in play, you have individuals, and I believe both sides, even beneficiary, must be a Swinto member, right? Before getting the service or with the benefits.
Yes, of course. That is we work day and night on that. I mean, our compliance. First of all, we have a very tight compliance and regulation. Technically speaking, we introduce a lot of PCI DSS standards. We tokenize everything. We have everything secure. We have multiple environments. There's a complex layer there to how we secure everything technically, but also our policies, how we do AML and how we transfer information. We spent months on that to introduce that and make it work. But I think the best way to answer that is we make sure everything is segregated. We have least privilege principle, and we've been checked by our partners in Switzerland, the partner bank there, partner bank here in Kosovo. We've been checked by our providers like Currency Cloud, and also we use, Refinitiv was one of the companies that I mentioned, so we've done live calls and checks with them too. So we've gone through lots of layers of checking all the time because, of course, everybody wants to make sure we're doing the right thing. If you want to send money to an account outside of Swinto, you can do that by the payment methods. So right now we support bank transfers. There could be other types of payments as well. And so we also have a team inside as part of AML, also compliance, that we check. So we do lots of transaction screening and monitoring within the system to check behavioral patterns. If you've been paying €5 every day and suddenly there's a $5,000 in your account, that's something we can flag and we can look at further.
Okay. So I would like also to ask, what are the key success factors for you? That's one question. And the second one, are you only focused on the Swiss market?
You take the first, I take the second.
So success factors, so for us, we have a number of success factors, but for us, what's important, of course, as a business, we want to onboard lots of users and we want to onboard lots of merchants. That's a key success driver for us. But the thing is that there are sort of indirect success that we get from that. Inclusion is part of it. I think it's hard when to open an account if you live somewhere remotely or maybe you don't have everything in play. You just have an app and you can onboard entirely there and you just have an account immediately. So that just opens up access to finance to so many people. So that's a success driver for us as well. We are building this because we really believe in it. And our family and our friends are a lot of the people we think about when we're building this. So that definitely is part of the success as well.
Let's keep it to just a couple of seconds because we are out of time.
Sure. Let me then keep it very short. So why Switzerland and Kosovo? Because actually, most of the founders live in Switzerland. We have banking experience in Switzerland, and our origins are in Kosovo. So we start with Switzerland and Kosovo, but we are expanding to Europe and other countries in Western Balkans as well very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ulpin and Dritan. This was Team Swinto, our final team for the day. Thank you, guys. And now, thank you to our jury members for these amazing questions that they asked to our startups. Now they will deliberate, and we will soon find out who is the winner of our regional final. And I would like to invite you to stay with us because the second part of our program will for sure be just as interesting as the first one, since we will have a chance to hear 2 fireside chats, and I will be chatting with Lav Odorovic about serial entrepreneurship in fintech, and afterwards I'll be joined by Tamara Raic from Croatian Infobip, one of the rare unicorns in our region, to talk about their journey. Lav, thank you so much for joining. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very well, thank you. Calling
it's
from
great
Zurich.
To have you.
It's
great to have you again. Lav was actually a part of our jury last year and contributed a lot to picking a winner of last year's Elevator Lab Challenge. Lav is also co-founder and CEO of startup Relio, and he is an amazing entrepreneur who has co-founded another fintech startup. So he has a lot of, and sorry for talking about you in third person while you're here. But you have great experience in building fintech startups, so it's really good to have you and to hear your expertise in this area.
Thank you for the kind words.
What I'd like to start off with, and what made me really curious, I've been familiar with your work for quite some time, but what I didn't realize up until a few days ago is that you actually founded your first company in 2007, back when you were at the very beginning of your career. So I'm really curious to hear, why was entrepreneurship your first career choice back then?
Yeah, so at the time I was still at university. I was studying economics at University of Belgrade. Yeah, it's I guess I always went after things that interest me the most. And entrepreneurship somehow came about, I would say, even before this, because I was previously part of some student and even pupil organizations already in high school. So I would consider all of them, all of these experiences to also be entrepreneurial. But yeah, I think it's really, really interesting career path, and would really encourage everybody to try both, right? To try working in a big organization, but also as entrepreneurs, as I believe this is by far faster and better way to grow personally. Also, it has some minuses as well. Maybe we'll talk about this too, but definitely recommendation for me.
Amazing. And what's even more curious to me is that back then in 2007, you built an e-commerce platform for Serbia and for the region, back when e-commerce was at its beginnings, so to say, in the region, and it still wasn't very, it wasn't an area that was very developed. So how did it look to build an e-commerce startup back in 2007? What were some of the main challenges at that time?
Yeah, so it was called the Web Kupovina, and it was the first price compare website, I think in the region, definitely in Serbia. So you could go and check if you want to buy a TV, which store has the lowest price or it's closest to you or longest warranty or whatever it is. So we at a time started what I think most developers were on a sourcing project where team is basically just bricklayers for somebody else's idea, and normally broad. So we were building similar products, e-commerce stores for other clients across Europe. And at that one point, we thought, like, why wouldn't we also build our own product, as we know how to do it? It was not a perfect timing. This was one of the biggest challenges, because it was really hard for anybody to buy something online, because not too many people had credit card, not too many web shops would accept cards. So maybe the website was a bit ahead of its time, but it was definitely great experience in building it.
That's a really good point for startups in general, that even if you have a good idea and you are a first mover in your industry, when it's not the right timing and the market is still not ready, it doesn't matter how good of an idea you have and how good of a team. Execution is going to be really hard.
Most of the time, first movers are not the one to win, right? The Google was not the first search engine, and not even Yahoo, and we see them one after one go into history. So So yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. And what you also mentioned when we talked about your career path is that you would recommend to everybody to sort of try out both worlds, both an entrepreneurial path and also to join a larger system and work inside of it. And that's what you did after your first entrepreneurial endeavor. You joined Siemens and spent some time there. So I was curious to hear, what do you think are some of the aspects of your work in Siemens that helped you become a better entrepreneur later on when you started working on your other startups and when you returned to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, with a risk of sounding tiny bit boring, the big organizations are really good at making somebody expert of a very narrow field, because it's very well organized. If you're lucky, then there are people doing everything's really economies of scale. There are centers doing different tasks, and you're normally really focusing on one narrow field, and then you can really be expert in it. So in my case, I worked in headquarters of Siemens and in a very crazy role. So I didn't really have one task or one really narrow topic that I was dealing with. So I think it's general how the most things that I learned is how the complex organization with multi-layer decision-making work and how to communicate, how to make sure that what you ask people to do is not only in your interest, but also in theirs. So yeah, I think without sounding too harsh to Siemens, that afterwards and before, when working on my own projects or in startups in general, I got much faster learning experience. And normally for many startuppers, it seems like, they could work for a couple of €1,000, let's say in Belgrade, straight out of school, if you're a developer, or you could start your own startup and have very low budget. But even if your goal is just to optimize the salary, it's probably much better to take on something where you'll grow much faster. And then even if you don't end up liking entrepreneurship in the end, I think most of employers will really appreciate this knowledge and skills that this person got and reward this with salary. So in the end, at least from my experience, you always win with entrepreneurship.
I absolutely agree. And what you said about employers also looking at entrepreneurial experience as a bonus and a big plus when they are hiring you. That's what we often advise some students that we are working with to at least try and make something. It's a really great learning experience with a high learning curve, and it's really good to have it at the beginning of your career or anytime in your career. I think everyone should try it. And why did you decide to get back in the game, so to say, when you founded Penta after your work at Siemens? And if you could also explain what was the product that you were building at Penta for our audience that might not be familiar with your work.
Excellent. So there were many factors, but I think maybe the one of the determining one was my younger cousin, who had this crazy idea to build a bank, and I had startup before, and we were never really happy with how banks treated us as a small business. So when we started talking with other people, we realized it's really a universal problem. It doesn't really matter whether you're having a small business in Austria, England, US, or Serbia. Banks are not really happy to serve this segment because it's not very profitable for them most of the times. And so we had this idea, and we started working on it. The idea was to provide a bank account for SMEs. And there were a lot of challenges, right? First, how are we going to get banking license? None of us has 20 million in the pocket. Then how are we going to build all the technology? Most of it, it's not something you want to engage a startup to build, like core banking. And then some other topics, including regulatory compliance, AML, and so on. And we knew very little about all of this. to be very frank. So from this sort of point of view, it was almost crazy what we wanted to do, and almost certainly we wouldn't have succeeded normally. But somehow, with a lot of luck and a lot of work, we made it. So we launched first we were accepted in the FinTech Accelerator, which at the time was one of the best in the world in London. And afterwards, we decided that our first market will be Germany. So we went live in Germany, and we were offering current account for SMEs. We were the first bank in Germany who could digitally open account without signing any documents, without going to a branch. And the way we managed to do it with very, very limited capital was that we persuaded another bank to basically be a bank who exposed APIs to us, so like interfaces to automatically communicate with bank. And we've really built only the front end, only the customer interfacing systems. So we were really good at onboarding at first. This was our main USP. And then as time moved on, we were able to connect bank with accounting tools and when many other tools that want to read the information that's in bank account about your customer, about your suppliers, about your employees, and so on. And that's how Penta gets to grow. So yeah, if you want, I can expand a bit about the whole trajectory.
Yeah, that would be great to hear. What were some of your major achievements and milestones in terms of your clients, etc.?
Yes, so it was very, very hard. So first we, in this accelerator, we tried to raise funds because we were kids, like we still are in a way, especially in this banking world where if you don't have gray hair, people don't really listen to you very much. Yeah, so we tried to raise funds, and the first time we were supposed to die, we got investments from our mentors at the accelerator, not a huge amount, a bit more than 100,000 euros. And then we used this money with help from developers in Serbia to build a prototype, but also to persuade the German bank to work with us. And then after this, we tried to raise VC funding. This was, again, super hard because we had 66 VCs who said no. But then luckily 67th VC said yes. So we raised 2.2 million euros. And soon after we went live in Germany. And then we raised another 7 million euros. And we started really getting great customer numbers. So what was very interesting, that many of them came as a word of mouth. So we didn't really have to spend so much on attracting customers, but we're really getting referrals from our existing ones. But again, not to go into too much detail there, we sold Penta around 2 years ago to Finlieb, one of the largest fintech investor in Germany. And since then, after a short vacation, I started working on a new bank, and this time in Switzerland, and this time with our own license, and it's called Relio, also serving SMEs, but this time slightly more complex SMEs, and also eventually.
It's an amazing road that you've been through with Penta and both with Relio as well. And what you mentioned, and what is, I think, really, really inspirational and really showcases your dedication, is that 66 VCs said no before the first one said yes. So I wanted to quickly touch upon the topic of fundraising, which is always kind of relevant for startups, especially in our region, where we often talk about not enough VCs and VC money being available, etc. And many startups still decide whether it's a deliberate choice or something that they don't have much choice about, to bootstrap. So what are some of the upsides and downsides of fundraising for building your product from your personal experience with Penta?
Yeah, so FinTech is specific because, like, if you're making an e-commerce website, you need one marketing guy and one or girl, obviously, and one girl or guy who are developing, and then maybe somebody in logistics, and that's it. 3 people they need small office, they need very limited funds, and they can build an MVP, and then they can show that, you know, there are people coming to the website and buying whatever they're selling, and then go to investors and say, look, we need to put more oil on this fire, and then investors are sort of keen to do it. With fintech, it's a bit harder because normally this initial step that you have to do to show that there is interest for your product is much larger. You can't just go on and sell bank accounts if you're not licensed. In many countries, you may even go to jail for this. So you sort of have to go around and prove in a different way that it's really that they're really interested for somebody to buy your product and service. Because if you can sell it, in most cases you can build it, right? Because costs are today not so hard to somehow predict. What's really hard to predict is whether people want to buy what you want to sell. So of course, some of the very usual tips are try to do as much as you can before involving external investors. Not only that this increases the chance of being funded at all, but it also allows founders to preserve the higher share of the company for themselves, as they have to dilute less for having a higher valuation of the company. So for example, if they need 1 million and the company is valued 2 million, then it will be they will only keep 2/3 of the company. But if they can, with their own funds or without funds, reach valuation of 5 million, then only they will give 1/6 of the company to investors rather than 1/3. So that's probably one of the main advices, which is really hard to do in fintech. But so maybe two trends that I saw that could be helpful. First, there is really more and more money in the area of Southeast Europe. So that's really encouraging. There are new VCs showing up, and they have larger funds than the year before. And then second one is that it's not anymore impossible to get cross-border VC money. So 5 years ago, this was close to impossible. Today, it's getting easier. It's still very, very hard. And most of the startups who look for VC money will actually not get it. But for those who are really sure of their idea and themselves, this is really worth trying. I know we don't have so much time, so I don't want to expand too much on it, but if you have any...
No, I think you touched perfectly on some really important major topics. I want to quickly talk about Relio as well, and you mentioned that you didn't really take a long break after Penta was acquired, and you jumped right back into the game and co-founded another startup. So what is different the second time around with Relio, and why the decision not to take a longer break, as startup founders sometimes do after an acquisition?
Yeah, so okay, so first, what do we do? It's actually a problem that at Penta we couldn't have solved. And at first I thought it's because we didn't have our own license, but then I realized that really almost nobody worldwide solved it, and it's really about compliance. Compliance company by now. So what we did is we try to automate compliance decisions, and the way it works is no matter whether you go to Revolut, which is like a super modern digital bank that also does SMEs, or you go to UBS and HSBC, it's always one application form with fixed questions that everybody fills the same form. And the problem with this is that every time you fill the form, somebody in a bank will look at it and say, oh, we need another question, we need another document. And then more complex SMEs, so those, for example, that have owners and directors abroad who have a complex multi-layer structure, or those who belong to specific industries or operate innovative business models such as blockchain, they will get a lot of questions from banks, a lot of these iterations. So what we did is we made an algorithm which allows us to do all of these iterations at once, because our application form adapts to each and every customer, and answers they give us are sort of triggering new questions that are really tailor-made for their specific situation. So in this way, Relio can really onboard clients, no matter how complex they are, very quickly, and be very precise in risk scoring. That's what we do better, compliance. But then, of course, we do all the other services that they need to have really good current account and do business internationally. So that's what we do. And the other part of your question is why it was only a short break. So I started already on this vacation sending emails and trying to check, is this really a problem? How big the problem is? Can it even be solved? And the answers I got were very encouraging. So it was actually more interesting to do this than to do nothing. And that's why I was back in the game quickly.
That's amazing. And one last question before I let you go. So what's next on the horizon for you as a team and your product?
Yes, so we have very quickly raised, basically, we registered a company with 2 VCs and raised 700,000 Swiss francs. We were also oversubscribed to what we needed early on. And we are now hopefully close to getting a license from Swiss regulator. And we're currently looking to close 2.2 million. There is already very, very good reception from the market, and I hope we'll soon have some good news to share. So that's it. Raising the round, getting the license, and going live soon after. That's in front of us. And maybe also important to notice, we also have a daughter company in Serbia, and we employ developers, but as well as other, let's say, fintech interested people, from customer support to product and so on. So if there is anybody in the audience who would like to work for a very fast moving fintech startup and they live in Serbia or Switzerland, please have us in mind and visit our website.
That's great. Thank you so much, Lav. It was really great catching up and talking to you, and thanks for taking the time to share your experience and thoughts on your entrepreneurial journey with other entrepreneurs that we have in the audience and other people from our region that are interested in fintech startups. Thanks again.
Thank you for the invite, and it was really a pleasure as always. Speak soon.
It was lovely talking to you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. This was Lav Odorovic from Relio and previously from Penta. Our next guest is Tamara Rajic from Croatian Infobip, one of the first and one of not many unicorn startups in our region. And with Tamara, we will speak about their reaching of the unicorn status and also about their trajectory and a really long journey that they took as a company during past 15 years as they've been active. But before that, we will take just a short break. So stay with us for our next fireside chat with Tamara, and also for the announcement of the winner of the Regional Elevator Lab Challenge for Southeast Europe that will follow soon after. Okay, welcome back. And as I mentioned a few minutes earlier, we are joined today by Tamara Rajic, Head of Platforms at Croatian Infobip. Hi, Tamara. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, hello. Nice to be here.
It's really great to have you, and I'm so looking forward to hearing the story of Infobip, a really amazing startup from our region and one of the unique ones. To start off our chat about your journey as a company, I first wanted to ask you, since we have a Southeast European audience, and since I know that people in Serbia, in Bosnia, and of course in Croatia are familiar with Infobip and what you do, but some of our other folks in the audience might not be familiar with your core business. Could you tell us a bit more about what it is that Infobip actually does, and what do you do as head of platforms, which is kind of an interesting position?
Sure, thank you so much. So Infobip as a company, what do we do? Usually, if you ask people on the street, they don't know who Infobip is, right? This is because we work with other businesses, and usually everyone receives a message from our platform in some way, whether it's an SMS, whether it's a WhatsApp message, Viber message, depending on which part of the world you live. And it probably came from our platform if you got it from your bank, if you got it from Uber and similar. So in a nutshell, what do? We provide the communication services to the businesses in any kind of an industry, whether it's some kind of an enterprise business, like, as I mentioned, the banks, some retailers and similar, and even talking about the huge platforms that we all know, such as, for example, Uber. Regarding my role in Infobip, what do? I actually lead this segment of B2B sales towards the platforms. From the perspective of these channels that we delivered, we are also delivering the whole SaaS solutions. So from communication platform as a service and possibility for the companies to kind of outsource their communication. And every company has some need to actually communicate with their customers. We're talking also about the SaaS solutions, like complete solution for the customer engagement, the contact center, and even the chatbot building platform. So this is how kind of Infobip evolved in the 15 years of our existence.
That's amazing. And one of the most impressive things about your growth and about your journey as a company is that you spent 14 years as a profitable business that was actually bootstrapped, and that your first investment happened only last year. And I know that for a pretty long time during your journey as a company, you were sort of below the radar and without much pomp. So I wanted to hear from your perspective, what are some of the major milestones for you as a business during these 14 years prior to this first investment that happened in 2020?
So one thing that's kind of very important in Infobip, and always was this people culture and the customer culture. So we were always trying to kind of build our in-house solutions and have our whole developer community in-house, but also like to be fully customer-centric and be there where customers need us. In my opinion, that's the only way to kind of succeed on this global market. And the exponential growth, it was always something that we were aspiring to. So yes, for 14 years, we were kind of bootstrapping and we were self-financing ourselves. And that was completely enough to kind of from self-financing to build our platform further. But at that point, with our kind of company strategic goals and the development of the whole communication platform market out there, so customer data platforms and similar, we also saw the potential when we kind of, we have the additional funding to be able to track this let's say, exponential mindset even better and develop our solutions even more.
That's great. Thank you so much. And as you mentioned, you kind of went into the reasoning why this investment happened. And when you took out this investment, it was at a valuation that granted you a unicorn status, which is really rare in our region. Croatia is really an amazing ecosystem that has 2 unicorns, which is really unique in our region. So did this unicorn status bring you any expected or unexpected positive consequences for you as a business and for Croatian startup ecosystem?
Yes. So let me tell you, like being a unicorn here, it really like shows that the value can be delivered anywhere in the globe. Like it doesn't come just from some specific market, but it can be really developed and delivered anywhere in the world. So we see it as a positive impact on the whole community, on the individuals that work in InfoBip, but also on the whole Southeastern Europe market, right? So it kind of helped us evolve further. And this is kind of the, also showing the great visibility to the world that in the startup community as well, that, startups, small companies can really deliver the value that everyone out there is looking for. So it's for InfoBip, it's a very important step that we took, and also like a possibility to be one of the unicorns. First one in Southeast Europe really means a lot.
I think it's really great that it brings attention to the region, and it shows that we can really build a business that, as you said, is truly global in this part of the world, which is really great and an inspiration for entrepreneurs here in our countries, but also really it brought attention from investors and other important stakeholders that are pushing our ecosystems forward.
Let me just add something to that. Like basically the most important thing is like from the perspective of InfoBip, we were, as a company, we started from Vodnjan, which is one small city on the seaside of Croatia, right? And if you take a look at it, like we have more than 70 offices around the world. So we're acting globally, but trying to also be there locally for any kind of customer, simply because of difference in mentality, support, and help that you need to provide to your customers in different parts of the world. So we are now present in more than six different continents, right? So in 6 continents, we have everywhere the offices, but still the whole HQ is still here in Southeast Europe. So we have a campus in Vodnjan. We built one in Zagreb. We are starting to build one in Sarajevo. We have an office with more than 10 employees in Belgrade as well. So I think this brings, as you said, like a huge focus also on the Southeast Europe and the whole community that we have here of very valuable people in the tech area.
That's great that you started from a small community, and the impact that your development has had on that community, and also then expanding it to the entire region. It's a lovely and so inspirational story. And there was a lot of news about InfoBip last year. Besides the unicorn status, you also had 4 acquisitions that followed the investments that you took. So it was a really I would say probably one of the most important years for you as a company. So could you tell us a bit more about these acquisitions that happened? I know that your acquisition of Shift, which is a well-known brand in the region, and this is just a fun fact, last year our Elevator Lab Challenge final happened as a part of Shift Money conference, so we were super glad to hear that you were joining forces this year. So could you tell us a bit more about these acquisitions that happened during last year, and how are they fitting into your wider strategic goals for your next chapters in the future?
So after this 14 years of the organic growth, we started with the acquisitions, right? So basically the first one of them was with the open market, also communication platform as a service in US. The idea with that acquisition was the kind of strengthen our position in the US. And after that, we also went to another acquisition in US, which was of the Peerless Network, so VoIP provider, with the same reasoning to kind of strengthen that position in the US with the voice connections. But also like one of the important things that we took as a company, like direction, was to invest in the startup community and to also turn to, we're working in this B2B B2C, B2B2C area, but we also wanted to focus on developers and to kind of, track the companies that really invest, really have good ideas, and to kind of also become like business to developers. So to be also present in that area. Shift acquisition was one of those, where we really wanted to kind of strengthen the relationship with the startups, not just in Southeast Europe, but also globally. And the Shift, as you said, like being one of the most known, even the biggest one, the biggest developer community, and the event was moving in that direction, right? So we wanted to kind of give additional push to the local community in the region to be able to kind of show what I already said, like that value can be delivered from anywhere. Once we were a startup as well, so we know how is it like, and it's very hard to be present out there, right? Where there are so many nice ideas and good ideas, and we want to provide that kind of a push even through our startup tribe, which is one of the latest B2D, business to developers kind of initiatives in InfoBip.
That's great. Could you tell us a bit more about Startup Tribe and some of the perks that the startups are getting in joining your network, and what are maybe some of the success stories of this program?
Sure. So basically, acquiring Shift was also one of these moves inside the Startup Tribe area. So the Startup Tribe actually gives possibilities to the startups to partner with InfoBip, to use 10K to 20K euros of the value in our services for free. Basically, to start the communication with their customers, to see whether they have the added value to it. And by getting actually the possibility to integrate and to use any part of our portfolio, being a CPaaS, so communication platform as a service, any kind of a channel, SMS, Viber, WhatsApp, email, any kind of a channel, plus the SaaS network. So basically communication engagement hub or contact center solution gives the possibility for these startups to start the communication with their end users. And this really adds the value to the platform that they are delivering. So basically what we're offering is like with no commitment, possibility to use these credits. So to the value up to 10K or 20K even of euros, and to simply see how actually they can get some additional benefit from it. So in this way, we are actually investing in this community that is coming, that is a future, that's tomorrow. And also these brands can actually benefit from us by using, also leveraging on our name currently that we managed to build through these years.
That's great. I saw some really recognizable names that are also your clients, but that have also grown their businesses as a part of your startup tribe, such as Strava, Uber, Bolt, etc. Yes. So many growing and amazing companies.
So for example, we just returned from the Slush conference, one of the biggest startup conferences in Europe, and we met with more than, I would say, 200 startups. And it's just amazing to see all these ideas coming together. And we managed to actually get some additional brands and future brands into our portfolio of Startup Tribe. And as you said, like today, startups can be very small. Tomorrow, they tend to grow to huge companies. We want to be there for them. They want to be there for us. So basically, it's a very nice collaboration and synergy we can create together.
Great. I also wanted to quickly discuss, we talk a lot about Shift and your joining forces, and this year you actually organized your first joint conference for developers this September. So I wanted to see how it went and what are some of your plans for 2022 when it comes to this conference that you are planning to organize.
Right. So we're just planning to make it even bigger next year. So in this COVID pandemic times, it was quite hard to organize it. Luckily, at that point of time in Croatia, the situation was good. So we managed, following all the measures, to organize a huge conference with a lot of names. And Shift was a few times bigger than actually before the acquisition of InfoBip. We had startups from all around the world. being there, we were connecting developers. We were trying to create some nice synergies and exchange ideas. We organized it in Zadar. Basically, it was a very nice event, very nicely organized. And basically, what we're planning to do next year is, well, hopefully we will get out of this pandemic situation, and the idea is actually simply to make it bigger and bigger. Also, like during these kind of events, we met a lot of people that would like to be part of it. So basically it's growing, it's becoming a famous name. And the one thing that we're planning to do, just like a sneak peek to the future, we are planning to organize one Shift conference per continent. So
wow, that's ambitious.
Yeah, that's ambitious, but truly there is a need. There's a need, and it's always a good idea, kind of to connect the worlds, right, between the corporates and the startups. And Infobip, we like to call ourselves startup, and this is the mindset we're proud of, simply because we are still managing to find our direction, change the direction when we feel like, okay, this kind of direction with this product's not going well, let's change it fastly. This is like kind of a startup mentality, but we're also corporate, right? So for us, it's becoming like, you know, nice synergy between the two.
Yeah, it's a good combination for those who can pull it off. That's great. One last thing that I wanted to talk about, for the past couple of months, we had a chance to hear about your program for giving stock options to your employees, which is not a very common practice in the countries in our region, even though it is a great benefit for people who are joining sort of more risky ventures, such as startups, to get stock options in the company. And that's sort of a benefit that rewards them for joining early on. In the business. So I wanted to quickly touch upon this, and we can definitely see what will be the benefit for these people and their families and their communities. But how do you see the impact of this program for the wider Croatian startup ecosystem and maybe even regional?
Yes, so without the possibility to now kind of go to the many details, but Infobip is going to the IPO. This is some kind of a future plan and strategical plan of the company, and giving the possibility to have stocks to all the employees, current ones and the future ones, actually was made due to like this whole fact to try to kind of connect the success of the company with the individual success of every single contributor, employee in the company. So the goal was at least to say noble. So the idea is like not a lot of companies do this, even in the Silicon Valley. This is not something that's common, that all the employees, even the future ones, get the stock exchange, stock options like ESOP program. But Infobip actually made it possible. The whole impact that we are kind of expecting out of this is like for these individuals that work with Infobip, that really give 100% of their talent and their time and the ideas as well to company to be able to succeed. Actually, the idea is to share it with them, to share it with the individuals, to have this impact on the local community, but in Croatia, but also wider on the region. So basically, this is kind of the ambition that we are having here. So as I said at the beginning, it's all about the people here. It's all about the customers in Infobip, and truly this ESOP potential to have the stocks is something that Infobip sees as a way to invest in the community.
It's definitely a great practice, and I certainly hope that it will be an example that other companies in our region will soon follow. So thank you so much, Tamara, for your time and telling us your story as a company. We're really lucky to have such a company in our region and sharing with our ecosystems. And we are so happy that you were a part of our event. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye. Thank you also to you, our audience, who are still with us and who are, I'm sure, very eager to find out who will be the winner of our regional Elevator Lab Challenge final. and I'm hearing that we actually do have the decision from our jury, and that Alda will be joining us to share this information. Hi, Alda. Was it a hard decision?
Oh, it was very hard, but you know, we had discussions, and we arrived even at the point of asking if we have more than one winner. You know, can you imagine? Out of 3 competitors we wanted to have more than one winner. Before I announce the winner, we were somehow forced to choose one. I want to thank all our collaborators, that took care of the organization of this, I would say, journey. It started in early autumn, and for weeks, our innovation team in all banks in Croatia, in Bosnia, in Serbia, Kosovo, Albania, and in RBI took care of promoting the program, kind of coaching the startups, and kind of nurturing the Raiffeisen spirit throughout this journey. I'm very proud to see that Raiffeisen is bearing the name of the most innovative bank in the region quite proudly, is contributing to the startup and fintech ecosystem very actively, and aiming to create and creating very solid partnership with this ecosystem. The Elevator Lab is just one of the examples that our team is taking care of to promote and to grow up startups and fintechs. In particular to this program, I would also I would thank Startit for the careful organization throughout the region, for bearing with us all the efforts of the journey, and for also enabling us to promote the spirit that we have towards innovation. I wish to all collaborators good luck in the future, and keep up the good work. Back to our candidates. I see all men. I was hoping to see a woman among them, especially on the ESG side. This was the argument that my colleagues gave me the privilege to announce the winner. So I was hoping to see women in between you, but anyway. Apparently, I hope that my announcement will bring good luck to you for future partnerships with Raiffeisen. I must say, honestly, the difficulty of choosing one winner was especially based on the fact that we were, all of us, with the same idea that with the 3 of your companies, we are seeing opportunities of potential collaboration, despite of different fields of your expertise. So I encourage you to continue the communication, direct communication with us, and to see how can we push further our partnership. But you know, I have to say that we have to have a winner, just for the sake of the winner, and that winner is Swinto. Congratulations, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Alda, and thank you to the jury. It's really an honor to be chosen. And I just want to add, we have a lot of women at our company actually, and a lot of leadership roles. And I would love to turn this camera, if I can, and bring the whole team in, because we work so hard, and you know, it's hard to tell all the stories that we sacrifice so hard for this product. And that's because, you know, we're trying to make tomorrow just slightly better than it was yesterday. And this is a great privilege and a great honor from you guys.
I think I just want to add 2 more cents as well. So when we started this journey, we always had our friends, our family, our community in mind, and the problems they were facing. And in everything we do, in all the late hours we work in our project, in our product, we always think of like how can we support them? How can we make really sure that they will like what we do? They will actually accept all the little things that we implement on a daily basis, on little releases, and they really kind of take Swinto as in their daily lives and really use it.
Congratulations to the Swinto team, Olpian and Driton, who are here with us, but also to all of the other folks who are working with you relentlessly. Great. Thank you so much also to our jury members and also to our other participants, Easy Albania and Tepema, but also all of the other teams who participated in this year's challenge. We had some really great companies, and I'm sure many of them will be growing into success stories of our ecosystems. As I mentioned at the beginning of our event, Swinto, as our winner, has won 10,000 euros grand prize and also an opportunity to pitch in front of the whole RBI group and their clients and network in 2022 at Elevator Lab International Demo Day, and they will also get a chance to meet with senior bank managers from Raiffeisen banks from the region and also from Raiffeisen Bank International. I would also like to thank our jury and all of the bank representatives who made this year's challenge happen. And of course, to you, our audience, for following us closely during 3 category events and during our regional final, and to all of our panelists and speakers who joined us and shared their stories of success and really showcasing the talent that we have in our region, in our startup ecosystems, and inspiring every one of us to grow even further. And that's it for this year's Elevator Lab Challenge. I hope you will also follow the growth of these teams that you had the chance to see during this year's challenge in the months to come. And I would again like to wish good luck to all of the teams, and especially Swinto on next year's International Elevator Lab Demo Day. Thank you everyone so much, and have a lovely evening.